The morning is still early. Words hit you like a chilly drop of water as you're enjoying your favorite coffee and reading through texts. A rude remark or an impolite gesture from someone. Your day looks a little bit less brilliant after that. We've all had to deal with toxic people at some point, but how we handle them can change the whole dynamic. Have you ever noticed how a single unfavorable remark can occasionally stick in your mind longer than a compliment? It resembles a stain that won't go away on your favorite garment. This is where the power is for you. Seeing that stain and choosing not to let it destroy your shirt or your day. It's important to realize that these trying times reveal more about the struggles and fears that the other person is facing on the inside than it does about you. Marcus Aurelius provided a timeless nugget of wisdom in his meditations. This viewpoint encourages us to look past surface interactions and comprehend the deeper motivations behind others' actions. He said, "When another blames you or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside and see what sort of people they are. You will realize that there is no need to be racked with anxiety that they should hold any particular opinion about you." This encounter with negativity offers a special chance for introspection as well. Thus, I'm putting out the call to turn within and peel off the layers of social masks and expectations. Which of your own facts have been obscured by the opinions of others? Are you letting the negativity of others define your day or your value? Together, let's set out on this path of self-discovery, developing coping mechanisms for poisonous people while simultaneously fortifying our sense of self. One's self-knowledge. It's possible that you have encountered someone in your life who consistently seems to set off alarm bells. These individuals are frequently referred to as poisonous because they obscure vision with their negativity, dispersing it like a cloud of smoke. However, what if I told you there was a method to get through this smoke without getting lost and clear the air? It all begins with awareness of oneself. Understanding how you react to toxic individuals can help you emotionally distance yourself from them, just as knowing you're allergic to smoke helps you avoid it. It brings to mind a lesson I learned from an elderly fencing master who believed that knowing when to dodge, rather than just attacking, was the true art of fencing. Imagine yourself performing an impeccable sidestep every time someone nasty lashes out. Because you know where your boundaries are, and you respect them enough to not allow someone to cross them, you don't take the hit. This requires peaceful, unwavering awareness of who you are. It doesn't require fury or a counterattack. Now, it's not as difficult as you may believe to incorporate this idea into your everyday activities. Think of it as similar to fastening shoes. It requires concentration at first, but with time, it comes naturally to you. Asking yourself, why does this bother me? Or what can I learn from this? When faced with negativity, will help you strengthen your own mental toughness rather than creating excuses for other people. Please take a minute to realize that there will be challenges along this route. Being self-aware and sifting through other people's negativity is not a simple task. On certain days, it will seem more convenient to simply respond by shoving back whatever has been hurled at you. However, that is a transient triumph that leaves you feeling empty since it violates your integrity. Recall that every time you opt to reply instead of react, you're doing it because it's the correct decision for you, not because it's the easiest one. This is about fortifying oneself from a place of strength and tranquility, not from a place of arrogance. It's important to acknowledge the negative without allowing it to dictate how you behave, rather than to ignore it. Accept the challenge then. You get sharper, more resilient, and ultimately indisputable strength from it. 2. Memory and forgiveness. Lift your eyes to the heavens. Have you ever noticed how bright the stars are in spite of the surrounding darkness? Consider these stars as individuals who enrich your life by shining a kind and understanding light on your path. Conversely, you can encounter black holes, which stand for poisonous people who ensnare you in their gloom and sap your happiness and vitality. The question now is there a way to avoid being drawn into these black holes while navigating this cosmic dance of relationships? Imagine yourself as a spacecraft powered by courage and intelligence instead of hydrogen. This bravery is your forgiveness, the superpower that lifts you beyond all negative influences and absolves others of their wrongdoings. It releases you from the grip of bitterness that ties you to hurtful experiences and grudges. However, a navigation system is a must for any spacecraft. This is memory, the repository of life's lessons, the still, quiet voice in your head telling you to veer off course when a known black hole approaches your path of travel. In actuality, our previous experiences with toxicity aren't chains. Rather, they're markers on a star map that direct us to more secure orbits. Every lesson discovered by working with a toxic person, every intense feeling experienced, serves as a beacon, warning us of potential dangers and guiding the direction of our interactions. Forgiveness and memory together serve as our compass in navigating the intricate web of relationships. I invite you to reflect on your journey through this celestial dance of relationships while keeping these ideas in mind. Whom do you need to deflect like a black hole in order to glimpse the brilliance of a star? In the dance of relationships, let your memory guide you to avoid reiterating the same mistakes and use your forgiveness as fuel to move on. In this complex dance of life, let us strive to be the spaceship that, propelled by the force of forgiveness and directed by the knowledge of remembrance, forges its way through cosmic chaos with elegant grace. 3. Stability of emotions. It can be difficult to navigate life when surrounded by poisonous people, akin to traveling through thick fog. You start to lose direction, and every step seems undetermined. However, what if I told you that the fog can be lifted? It originates internally with the power of emotional stability that Stoicism has developed. Consider that one individual who never seems to get upset, even in the middle of pandemonium, similar like a mountain steadfastly facing a violent storm. This is about realizing that the only thing we really have control over is how we react to the outside environment, not about being cold or apathetic. Stoicism teaches us that we are not in control of the uncontrollable. Rather, we are in control of how we respond to it. Thus, we summon our inner stoicism when confronted with toxins. We pause, not participating in the play. It resembles being in a hurricane's eye. This place is tranquil, even while everything outside is crazy. We are able to think, breathe, and act with calm, reasoned judgment in this area. It's about turning our attention from the external events to how we plan to allow them to impact our inner tranquility. And how can we go about doing this? Through engaging in mindfulness exercises. Granted, that's a popular theory these days, but here's the real deal. It works. With mindfulness, we can step back and watch the commotion without being enmeshed in it. It's important to acknowledge the toxicity without allowing it to destroy our peace, not to ignore it. It's acknowledging that these moments will pass, just like clouds in the sky. Thus, keep in mind that you are the creator of your own tranquility the next time you find yourself surrounded by negativity. Make it robust. 4. Delineating limits. Imagine entering a world where each conversation you have acts as a stroke of paint on the daily canvas. Certain strokes accentuate the beauty of your existence. They are colorful and cheerful. Then there are the dark, heavy, and erratic strokes that toxic people in your life have left behind. These exchanges do more than simply leave a trace. They transform your day, your emotions, and even your image of yourself. Now consider the Stoics of antiquity. By strengthening their inner barriers rather than escaping misfortune, they became rulers of their own minds. They were aware that not every viewpoint, criticism, or unfavorable vibe was worthy of their time. What if I told you the similar stoicism could be applied to coping with poisonous people? It's more important to decide which gates to open when rather than to construct an impenetrable wall. Being selectively open doesn't diminish your humanity. Rather, it empowers you to curate your own tranquility. Consider your energy as a valuable, finite resource, similar to water in a desert. Participating in every contact is akin to giving up a drop of that water. Which would you rather now? To give it to someone who sows seeds in your desert and makes it bloom, or to someone who lets it wither away in the scorching sun? Establishing limits is about managing your energy with the cool determination of a Stoic person who understands the value of his time and worth, not with conceit or contempt. Your peace is not negotiable, so it's about saying, "This is where I draw the line," in a composed manner. So let's proceed with this attitude. Consider every day as a chance to create your masterpiece and to direct your energy in the direction of its greatest growth. Recall that having the self-respect and knowledge to set boundaries for oneself does not equate to hostility. Commence this day, not by removing people, but by drawing a boundary between your garden and the wild, and observe how your life's terrain changes. Please let us know in the comments if this video is hitting home for you, and please hit like to help spread the word. Remember to hit subscribe for more insights as well. 5. Energy intelligence is number 5. Ever had a sunny day turned upside down by someone whose energy seemed like a rainstorm while you were in their presence? Even the most composed brains may find it difficult to navigate the rough seas of relationships with toxic people. Now, however, let us examine the idea of energy intelligence as our compass by looking inward. Imagine your energy as a wall of defense, a wall that blocks out unwanted negativity and maintains your tranquility, akin to an old city wall. Now pause to contemplate the power of choice in these circumstances. You have the ability to choose how you respond and interact with people who drain your energy, just as you choose the fuel to put in your automobile to determine its longevity and performance. You can maximize your emotional well-being and stay on course by responding patiently and understandingly, or by deciding to not interact at all. This is about arming yourself with knowledge and making decisions that support your peace, not about sidestepping conflict. Using this intellect involves more than just exercising self-control. It involves establishing a foundation that is so solid that not even the strongest storm can topple it. Like a tree that is firmly anchored in the ground, you cannot be moved. Not because you're not affected by the wind, but rather because you've become skilled at bending and swaying with it without breaking. Toxic energy is disarmed by this strength and suppleness, leaving it with little option except to fade away or move on. I now want you to consider how you have been handling your energy when faced with challenges. Recall the times when you were overcome by the negativity of others. What was your response? Did you allow their tempest to darken your sky, or did you shine even more brightly, bringing you both back to serenity? The goal of this journey is to realize that you have a reservoir of power and wisdom inside of you, ready to meet any obstacle that comes your way, rather than to become unaffected. In the future, remember to take a moment to breathe, pause, and acknowledge your strength. In addition to preserving personal tranquility, how are you going to use your energy intelligence to illuminate the path for others? Recall that dancing in the rain, rather than avoiding the storm, is the true litmus test for your inner fortitude. 6. Pay attention to your objectives. When you truly desire something, whether it's learning a new skill, achieving a fitness objective, or even making progress on your own initiatives, you can tell when you've got it. You do feel as though you're on a well-defined path. But then all of a sudden you run into people or circumstances that make you feel depressed. These interactions have the power to derail you, much like a wind gust rerouting a paper airplane. It's depressing, to put it mildly. Consider Jordan's story, for example. Jordan was fully committed to launching a modest internet company. Friends and family expressed their uncertainty in waves. Some voiced their doubts directly, while others quietly suggested taking safer routes. Many of us are familiar with this situation. Rather than engaging in pointless arguments or trying to justify his aspirations, Jordan focused on honing his abilities, expanding his knowledge, and gradually growing his company. What can Jordan's path teach us? A strong conviction in one's goals, and a determination not to allow negativity to divert one's course. This leads us to the next topic, which is handling toxic individuals. This is a delicate skill. The Stoics had a great insight. They concentrated on what we can control, and let's be honest, changing other people doesn't fall into that category. but controlling how we react to them is completely within our power. It's about keeping a mental wall up so that bad thoughts can't get in and tarnish our spirits or judgment. Think of a raincoat as a means of staying dry during a downpour without actually stopping the rain. That is the desired level of resilience. Therefore, keep Jordan in mind the next time you encounter doubt or hostility about your goals or intentions. Instead of focusing your energy on persuading critics, shift it towards strengthening your own direction. Give a nod and a grin, then continue on with your work. You have objectives to accomplish, and no amount of negativity is acceptable to rent space in your mind. Accept stoicism. Pay attention to what you're doing, have fun, and let the opposition fade into the background as you proceed. You are the only one who can guide you on this trip of yours. 7. Looking for assistance. Occasionally, we encounter someone who appears to undermine our mental well-being on all fronts. You are aware of those individuals whose presence on a sunny day feels akin to a storm cloud. It feels like you're caught in quicksand. The more difficult it is for you to remain composed, the more deeply your dissatisfaction or rage seeps into your being. When we interact with toxic people, we frequently find ourselves in this difficult situation. More than anything else, it's a test of our forbearance. Let's examine more closely, though, at how asking for help in certain circumstances doesn't indicate weakness, but rather intelligence. Comparable to how a solitary candle can dispel obscurity, confiding in someone who shares your troubles might reveal previously undiscovered avenues. They are the ones who strengthen our determination by serving as a constant reminder of the strength that comes from within, not by taking on our fights on our behalf. Envision having an experienced elder by your side, providing guidance gleaned from a wealth of knowledge. That's the kind of priceless assistance that can enable us to gracefully go through the toxins. In order to truly tap into our inner Stoic power, we must learn to discern when other viewpoints can be beneficial. It's about realizing that although we have no control over other people's behavior, we do have power over how we respond to them. We can learn to step back and view the situation from a higher perspective by practicing the art of Stoicism. It is similar to zooming out on a map to discover other routes we might have overlooked while we were zoomed in. By asking for help, we give ourselves time to calm down, think things through, and carefully consider our options so that they are in line with our morals and feeling of well-being. Now pause to consider your personal experiences with difficult people. In what ways have you sailed these waters? Have you made an effort to rely only on your own strength to get by? Or have you called out for the encouraging viewpoint that has the power to transform everything? Recall that the real mark of a Stoic is not solitude or quiet suffering, but rather the ability to discern when and how to draw on the wisdom of others to help us travel the path more easily and understandingly. 8. Regulating negative inner dialogue. When was the last time you encountered someone whose vitality resembled a rain cloud during a parade? Everyone has experienced the weight of another person's negativity dragging them down. Remarkably, the dialogue we have with ourselves while interacting with toxic individuals can serve as a strength or a weakness. Consider your mind as a garden, where each idea you have about yourself is a seed. We can stand tall when we sow the seeds of resilience and strength, but when we add doubt and fear, those poisonous weeds begin to choke out everything positive. However, it is only a portion of the tale. When leaving doesn't seem like the best course of action, the age-old Stoic wisdom can help. It matters not what occurs to us, but rather how we respond to it. The wisdom of Stoicism shows us that our responses are where real power resides. As a result, pay close attention to the dialogue you have with yourself while negotiating the turbulence caused by another person's bad influence. It might help you develop resilience, empathy, or the bravery to stick to your boundaries. Try asking yourself, how can I grow stronger from this encounter? Rather than, why do I have to deal with this? Changing your mind is more than just semantics. It's about taking back your own authority. You also have access to the small yet effective instrument known as dissociation. Not heartless, not frigid, just intelligently allocating your energy. Consider the criticisms of others as arrows. Now, such darts cannot penetrate your shield of self-worth. This does not mean that you won't occasionally feel a sting, but keep in mind that those arrows can only cause you harm if you allow them to. Now pause to consider how often you allow outside negativity to affect the way you talk to yourself. Building a wall around your heart is not the way to control this. Sometimes it's just a matter of accepting your value, seeing that your response is what gives you power, and choosing not to give up your serenity. Stoicism is about deciding which battles are worth your heartbeats, not about living an emotionless life. Recall that you are the only one in this world over whom you truly have control. 9. A solution-focused methodology. Do you ever wonder how to deal with the poisonous individuals that we all eventually come into contact with? It feels like you're walking through a thick fog, with the air heavy and every step feeling unsure. Adopting a solution-focused mindset that is firmly based in Stoic principles is crucial in this situation. This strategy lays the groundwork for us to turn these encounters from frustrating experiences into chances for personal development and emotional intelligence. As one might expect, it takes ingenuity to change the course of hazardous interactions. It's similar to playing chess in that you have to plan several moves ahead of time and predict responses without getting attached to them emotionally. This calls for replying calmly, a quality that many respect but few are able to do. It also calls for speaking less and listening more. By using your strategic ingenuity, you may stay calm and resist the urge to join the pandemonium. In these circumstances, adaptability is your greatest ally. It's the capacity to uphold your moral principles when facing the difficulty of getting along with people who have challenging personalities. Consider yourself to be a tree, sturdy at the roots but pliable in the breeze. When the corrosive winds blow, you waver but do not break. This fortitude fortifies your personality and gives you the means to weather any storm. I want you to take a moment to think about how you respond to manipulation or negativity. Recall that while toxic people may not always be in your control, your response to them may. You're deliberately creating a life of serenity, resiliency, and dignity by adopting a Stoic, solution-focused mindset. You're not just avoiding the traps of negativity. Recall that in the end, our success comes from how we overcome our challenges, not from the difficulties we encounter. 10. Steer clear of pointless disputes. Pick your battles carefully. Although that advice has been around for ages, it has never been more applicable than it is in the modern world, when it can seem like a minefield in every interaction. Dealing with toxic people is like trying to find your way through a dark maze. You never know when you're going to run across someone. Here, feeling your way around and determining which paths are worthwhile to take is more important than charging at every wall you come across. Certain confrontations are only energy-draining dead ends with no way out or reward at the end. Acknowledging this can spare you a great deal of stress. You might be shocked to hear that there are situations when acting completely silently is the most effective course of action. A quiet moment can speak louder than any words you choose to use. When toxic people criticize you, they frequently want a response. Any indication that what they've said has resonated with you. You are taking the wind out of their sails by refusing to interact. It's about making the decision not to let the issue to rule you, not about ignoring it. Use your scarce energy on battles that are important. Avoid falling into the trap of trying to explain or argue your way out of someone's harmful behavior. It's like using gasoline to put out a fire. All you do is fan the flames. Ask thought-provoking questions instead to help them approach the situation differently. It has to do with moving from conflict to dialogue. It is acceptable that this strategy won't always be successful. The idea is to keep your dignity and tranquility while fighting them, not to win every battle. Empathy is your shield, and patience is your sword when it comes to combat. It shows strength to see past outward appearances, to try to understand the other person's perspective, not that you support or agree with their actions. Keep in mind that everyone is engaged in personal struggles, some of which you are unaware of. You allow yourself time to react instead of reacting when you are patient. You become wise as a result of this, not weak. I would like you to pause and consider the times you have dealt with challenging individuals. Do you see any trends? Do you feel that some of the battles you are engaged in are not worth your time? Recall that being stoic is about controlling your emotions rather than being emotionless. It's about deciding where to concentrate your efforts, realizing that you can't win every war. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where an argument could arise, stand back, calm down, and ask yourself, is this truly worth my peace? 11. Recognizing inauthentic warmth. Isn't it amazing how easily a straightforward conversation can turn into a heated dispute? It resembles a tiny spark that grows into a wildfire and obliterates everything in its path. The truth is, though, that not every spark needs to ignite, particularly when interacting with poisonous individuals. You can use your understanding of faux cordiality as a fire extinguisher. It's about knowing when someone is quietly piling wood to fan the flames under the guise of being on your side. Body language is not deceptive. Having their arms folded tightly across their chest or grinning without a sparkle in their eyes are dead giveaways of insincerity. A subliminal indication that you're working with occultists rather than sincere care. Take a time to notice what is not being said. Words can never convey the depth of information that an uncomfortable laugh that seems to jar with the discourse, or a voice that is full of honey but missing warmth can. These subtleties in communication are similar to unseen threads yanking at your gut feeling and leading you to believe that something is not quite right. For those who want to look, a person's speech can act as a mirror, displaying their genuine intentions crystal apparent. Now consider the recurring themes you see in people's actions. A person's genuine nature is shown by their consistent acts. It's dependable and constant, much like the drumbeat. Conversely, acting in a way that changes dramatically depending on who is observing is as fleeting as a leaf in the wind and indicates that the display of friendship is only that, a show. It's important to pay attention to these trends, since consistency is key when it comes to human connections. It's not only about protecting yourself from poisonous relationships when you can see through the facades of phony kindness. It's also about creating a space where real connections can blossom. It's about pointing others in the direction of real connections by being a light of honesty in a sea of fakery. Thus, the next time you feel uneasy, follow your instincts. Be aware of the warning signals, and keep in mind that not every hand that is extended in friendliness is one that should be shook. Remain unwavering, since the way ahead is exclusively yours. Recall that your tranquility serves as a stronghold. Preserve it with the Stoic knowledge. Investigating Stoicism provides the opportunity to live a more fulfilled life and deal with harmful people. Joining our free newsletter is the first step towards exploring the deeper realm of Stoic wisdom that lies ahead of you. Seize your opportunity today to expand your knowledge and relationships within this amazing concept. Make sure to click the link in the description to reserve your spot with other Stoics so you don't miss out.